Thousands of people gathered to attend the memorial service for conservative activist Charlie Kirk in Glendale Sunday. It was an emotional affair, with one of the most powerful messages of the day coming from Kirk's widow, Erica, who called for peace and forgiveness in the wake of tragedy.
My husband, Charlie, he wanted to save young men, just like the one who took his life. That young man, on the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, that young man, I forgive him.
Kirk supporters filled the State Farm Stadium as well as a nearby arena. There were up to 200,000 people reportedly in Glendale for the ceremony, including several influential figures within the American conservative movement as well as members of the U.S. administration. Now, for his part, U.S. President Donald Trump spoke for more than half an hour.
That terrible day, September 10th, 2025, our greatest evangelist for American liberty became immortal. He's a martyr now for American freedom. I know I speak for everyone here today when I say that none of us will ever forget Charlie Kirk. For millions of Americans, especially young people, it is agonizing and unthinkable to say goodbye to a patriot whose heart still had so much to give.
Trump praised Charlie Kirk as a great American hero and credited him for playing a pivotal role in his 2024 election victory. Kirk's death has sparked heated debates about violence and free speech at a time of deep political division in the U.S.
I don't think people realize how important he is to us, or was to us. So I don't think people realize the impact that he made and how his loss has affected people. I've been crying for a week, and I never met him, and I feel like I lost my brother.
All right, I want to bring in CTV's U.S. political analyst Eric Ham now with more. Eric, good morning to you. So the tone and the message from the president yesterday was very different from what we heard from Erica Kirk. She spoke of forgiveness. Donald Trump said, "I hate my opponents." What do you make of that, and where does that leave this whole debate around political discourse at this time?
Well, frankly, I think it was a very strident message, and also I think it confuses even those who support Kirk. You've got the widow herself calling not only for peace, but forgiveness of the actual shooter, which is what you've been hearing from so many people in the aftermath of this deadly tragedy. But then you have the president of the United States, who many in the country look to for their North Star in moments like this, saying that he continues to hate his enemies and that he will. And so I think what we're seeing here is, once again, how the polarization in the country will continue to struggle in terms of moving forward, because you have the person who is in charge continuing to lead the way, not only in hate, but also in division.
So will this create divide within the Republican Party?
That's a really good question. It's unclear. We know that Erica Kirk has said that she will now step into a leadership role of Turning Point USA. It's unclear if she'll be able to be as effective in galvanizing young people the way her husband was. But clearly, if she continues to stand on the message that she is right now, I think it's going to be a message that will certainly be at odds with MAGA, and it's unclear where all of that will move, particularly as the president is looking, in fact, to the midterm elections next year.
And I think a lot of people listened to J.D. Vance yesterday, speaking of the future, and wondering if he someday is the future of the Republican Party. Where does Kirk's death leave young people who he drew to the party and, as President Trump said, helped him win re-election?
You know, that's a really good question. Charlie Kirk would actually go into the lion's den. He would go to these colleges and universities. And while he was certainly at a university that perhaps was more open to his message when he was killed. He was also heading to Dartmouth University. He would actually be there this week speaking. And so he did engage with people who did not necessarily adhere to his message. But again, I think that's what made him so effective, particularly for those on the right. And it's unclear who is actually going to take up that mantle. We know his wife is going to step in a leadership role, but will she be able to move particularly young men in the way that Charlie Kirk did? And quite frankly, it wasn't just helping Donald Trump. But if you look at where young people are in their politics, this was a monopoly that the Democrats had for a very long time until Charlie Kirk came along. And so those are going to be big, big shoes that MAGA and Donald Trump are going to have to fill. And they're going to have to move very quickly because the midterm elections do take place next year. And already we're seeing Democrats, while certainly in disarray, attempting to at least try to organize to take back both the House and Senate next year.
Eric Ham, great to see you this morning. Thank you so much.